Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest WAAAGH, where we are playing Tzeentch. It's turn 26. We got some interesting stuff going on. There's a lot of like little things going on this turn, so I'll try to make sure I catch everything, but it's very likely I'll miss a few things here or there. But yeah, a bunch of good stuff. Let's jump into it, shall we? So we've completed Thaumaturgy 4. We're gonna run up Blood very quickly. We've done an empowerment in Earth, so we can start doing Gnome Lores and hopefully make some bank off of that, fingers crossed. The Silver Throne has been claimed. We did a Dark Knowledge and found an Enchanted Tomb, which is another death, so that's nice. Probing, found nothing. We summoned a Flamer. Let's go check that out, since we haven't actually, like, done anything with those right now. So here's a Flamer. These guys are fucking awesome. They really are. Very high HP. You know, Dark Vision, True Sight, Recuperation. They don't eat. They have Invulnerable 13, 15 Fire Resistance, 10 Poison Resistance, 2 Magic Weapon attacks. Decent damage, but not crazy. But it's these Gouts of Warp Flame that are really fucking awesome. 15 range, so relatively short range, but they do good damage. It's armor piercing damage. It's area of effect 1, so it hits a whole fucking square. And it has a secondary damage component that is also area of effect 1. So they fire off 2 of these area of effect 1 gouts pretty consistently. And it's pretty fucking dope, truth be told. So having a bunch of them later, really cool. We could just set someone to summon, and they would probably be pretty strong, but we're not going to do that. Anyways, back to what we were doing. We've got some battles. Wait. At the end of the rainbow, Haruspex found nothing, Got some battles. So, Bone Nose attacked Middenheim and Faircliff. Got a chunk of orcs versus just some PD. There is a fair amount of PD here. But it's not especially good PD. But it routs them. It does the deed. That's unfortunate for the Orky boys. Kind of just routed. HP routed there. Orc boys just not that great, unfortunately. When they go to Biggins, significantly better, but they're kind of rough. Kind of a rough start. Not gonna lie. I mean, they're very cheap, so whatever. But 20. This is a lot of PD, though, I will say. Anyways, moving on. Let's not wax over literally everything. We attacked in Osens. Ran into some more PD. Nothing really doing here. The Griffins pretty much instantly killed that, but we do lose 3 more Griffins. Hook. We attack in Ophaleth. Okay, so this is our little Marauder stack coming in behind Middenheim's big stack. Or hopefully. Okay, yes, Middenheim's big stack is not here, but this is a lot of PD. So, what are you doing here, Scout? Are you coming at me? Let's see how we do. Marauders, pretty good. Are they good enough to beat this much province defense? Well, that one guy got hooked. Questionable. Hey. I really like Marauders. I think Marauders are actually quite good for their price point. That is 33 Marauders against 88 units. So this is what, 26 PD? Maybe a little, no, 26 PD seems about right? Something like that. Maybe a little more. That's a pretty fucking good performance. Obviously, we did still lose a third of the force, but considering what you're spending on a Marauder, that seems pretty good, right? Like that, they definitely trade very well, I think. They do pretty fucking good. So pretty pleased about that. We also attack in Faldenberg. Got a mixed unit here, and again, up against just a lot of PD. There are a bunch of knights, or heavy cav, in this one. They are going to ruin our Chaos Warhounds, but that is what Chaos Warhounds are for. Unfortunately, they get in behind the Marauders, so that might go poorly. Our knights, however, doing the work. Good shit. Did we lose a knight? Might have lost a knight. Okay. Oldenburg. We did. We lost a Chaos Knight. That's no bueno. Lost all of the Chaos Warhounds. Lost a fair amount here, right? Lost nearly half the force against less PD but better PD because of the heavy cav. The heavy cav did work, obviously. They killed mostly the Chaos Warhounds, but also killed some Marauders in the back. So pretty good work there. Interesting that a Chaos Knight died. Who killed the Chaos Knight? It's this one. All on his lonesome. Yeah, he got brave. He tried to go fight the state captain, but the state captain had backup. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, cool. So that is 3 wins for us, but still nothing really doing, right? Like, no forces really squished or anything like that. Lots of PD in both Faldenberg and Ophaleth. Not so much in Osense, but so it's nice to squish the gold, but the gold's already invested, right? Like, it's not, the gold's already there. We're not really changing anything. So nice to get these victories, but they do come at attrition. And we haven't fought a big battle against Middenheim, or even a really small battle against Middenheim mobile forces, like recruited forces. So that is somewhat concerning. Moving on, we get another 3 blue horrors. Very nice. 23 secrets for the second gate. Unexpected event in Umfolia. We get fire, air, earth, astral, death, glamour, gems for 1 gold. In Cormark, we get boo. Okay, that's not good. That's not good. Hey, we get an adventurer. That's not the problem. The problem is the Sacred Glen. So the Sacred Glen is, I think it's a nature site. Like, I think it gives like 1 nature gem or something like that. But the whole sacred part, it kills undead. Like, it does, I don't know, probably like 10 AP damage or something like that to undead, to like a number of undead creatures in the province each turn. Also counts demons, right? So that's not great, because that is a fucking throne. Which that could be not nice for us. So that's less than ideal. We're gonna have to hope that doesn't like bite us in the ass later on in the game. Cause in theory, later on in the game, if we're defending thrones, we're gonna want to be moving large demon armies into those thrones. It probably won't matter that much, but it definitely could be annoying. So we'll see. I will say kind of like the good thing about it is it's likely that most of the demons we're utilizing or going to be utilizing will have more HP than the Sacred Glen can kill easily. You'll have to roll really, really well. But if you have a shit ton of demons there, it's gonna roll well enough sometimes, right? And then the other thing is even for the ones that it doesn't kill, it can hurt and cause afflictions and things like that. But I think most of the demons that we have recuperation, so hopefully that doesn't become an issue. We'll see. We'll try to keep an eye on it and see. So, we discover a scout. We patrol some. We get some promotions, and I forgot to cover this. I'm terrible about covering mercenaries because they're so like. They're so after the fact quite often for me. I just forget. So, but last turn we spent some money on the Whisperer. So the Whisperer is this nice boy. Is Death 3, Nature 1, comes with a bunch of gems, comes with, I guess, Death 2 with the Skull Staff, right? This Troll Shaman comes with a big old stack of Vedis, right? The Vedis themselves, not especially crazy. And this guy is not stealthy, so you can't really do the whole, like, stealthy raider scenario with them. But there are a lot of them, and they do contribute somewhat to siege strength. And they have decent defense, blah, 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 blah. This guy can cast the shit out of Horde of Skeletons. So he was a worthwhile pickup for us. What are we doing this turn? We got things. Let's talk about research real quick. So we've hit our enchantment 5 goal. Turn previously. This turn we hit Thaumaturgy. 4. Thaumaturgy 4, obviously the big things that we're going for there are Auspex and Gnome Lore, but we do get a couple of other potentially interesting and useful things, including things like Visions of Death, Furious Warriors, those Paralyzed, right? Like those are all decently easy for us to use, right? So might see some play, we'll see. We're jumping through Blood 2 real quick, primarily just for Bowl of Blood, just because we're playing very greedy, but we're gonna want to run up Blood later anyways, so this is just a very quick pit stop, and then we're sealing the deal, right? It's turn 26, and we want Enchantment 6 and Conjuration 6 when our god comes out. We want to immediately put up Eternal Pyre. So we need to have we have to have Enchantment 6 for the Eternal Pyre, and in theory we would already want the Conjuration 6, but technically we can wait a turn because we'll be doing like Eternal Pyre with as many gems as we can, and actually technically I think we would have 2 turns after that to hit Conjuration 6, because we're probably going to need 2 turns to generate enough gems to summon Prince, right? So, but that's the play, right? It's time. We're getting close. We want to go and make the charge. It's at 1300. Obviously, our research speed is increasing every turn because we're just shitting out acolytes, and they're great. So this is gonna spike up to the 400 and 500 mark, I think, relatively quickly. And when it does, this stuff will just kind of zip by. But if we wait too long, then it'll become an issue, and we don't want to futz around with that, right? We want it ASAP. Let's go. So it's not like we're not getting other really good things out of Enchantment 6. Obviously, we are aiming for Eternal Pyre, but we can do plenty of other good things out of this. The bigger obvious scenarios are things like Relief, right? It's annoying for us to go up Nature, but it's not that bad. We can do things very easily, like what's the it used to be matrices, but it's like the meteoric iron or whatever now. Basically, communion master miscellaneous item. We can throw that on shamans, and be able to cast high nature stuff very easily. And we have a shaman that we've empowered. We could probably maybe empower again, or do some empowerment shenanigans with an astral so that we can start doing like moonvine bracelets in the near future. There's a couple of different ways we could go about this, but relief, very good that we can do decently easy. Earthquake Warriors is somewhat useful, but probably not something that we're throwing out very frequently. Wind Guide and Greater Farflight, actually very easy for us to use, and potentially very useful if we get it in the near future because of what we're already doing with the shitting out Marauder Horse Archers, right? So more precision and more missile range just kind of like adds on top of the overall concept of unleash a lot of flaming arrows. Great, so pretty good stuff there. There's a bunch of other little bitty things here or there. See how that goes. So that's kind of the research concept. In keeping with that, recruiting more acolytes in Valkyria and in Traveler's Rest. Over in Cermiak, we are getting some horse masters for shits and giggles. And in the capital, we're recruiting another exalted hero, more chosen warriors, more marauder horse archers, more marauder horse archers over in Cermiak, as well as in Traveler's Rest. More marauders in Namor, more marauders in Brightwood, and more marauders in Faldenberg. I don't think we're doing anything crazy. And no buildings, no mercenaries, no crazy province defense or anything like that. Mostly just dumping into commanders and units. Trying to build things up and make sure that we are robust enough to do what we got to do. What is the current plan? Harspecs, Arcane Probing, Dark Knowledge, Gnome Lore added to the list. At the end of the rainbow, summoning more flamers, because apparently that's a thing that I have in my head that we're going to do. I don't know that I like that. And we're also throwing out Auspecs now. Yay! We are trying to consolidate in Brightwood. So, we have this Exalted Hero, as well as a small communion that we have put together. Moving into Brightwoods, this is a fair number of units, 216. It's primarily a Marauder-based army. There are a few Horse Archers here, a few Chosen Warriors, but this is primarily a Marauder-based army. So we're not as worried about the concept of throwing up flaming arrows, but we will have a scout hop in with some gems probably to toss that on the horse archers if we want. So right now we're just focused on we have the communion there and available if need be. But right now we're just kind of focused on low tier evocations. Flare actually pretty good in these days, I think. Phoenix Power on a Fire 2 lets us flare. Got a very high casting range. Pretty quick casting time. It does have area of effect, so it's not just a full-on single target spell. It does pretty fucking good damage and is armor piercing and has a lingering cloud. It can get your own shit killed, but I like it. I think it's pretty decent. So I think it's probably one of the better fire spells until you get to like Pillar of Fire in Evocation. What's the other one? It's Falling Flames. There's some other fire one that I think is really good too, but it's harder to cast. Might be the I don't remember. Anyways, we're also doing some budget, lightning bolts spam. Not really expecting either of those, the evocation scenarios, to really be that big of a deal. They're just a little extra added. We are consolidating in Bright Woods because we're thinking of threatening Bogoloth, but it really depends on what happens here. So we have scouts. We're trying to keep an eye on where the Middenheim armies are going to move. If he tries to defend Bogoloth with the forces that are in Feral Woods, we'll just kind of hang out, right? If he moves into Middenheim, into his capital, then we probably will threaten Bogoloth with the stack that is in Bright Woods. And then we're consolidating in Faldenberg because I'm a whiny baby. No. Because kind of because I'm a whiny baby. So there's two main things here. And you can see both of them in this picture. Yeah, okay, here we go. This, I guess this is like one thing, the Middenheim thing. And then there's this thing over here, right? There's Itza. Ah, hello, Itza. How are you doing there, buddy? So I had thought to just say, fuck it, let's go ahead and go at Middenheim this turn. With what we have in Ossense and Faldenberg, let me check Ossense. So we have 335 here. I feel pretty comfortable about the strength of this army. And here is a smattering that survived previously. So, mostly we're talking about Ossense. Combining what is in Feral Woods and what is in Middenheim, what we have seen from his mages previously, and what we are doing, which is basically just flaming arrows, I feel pretty good about the concept of having 100-ish archers. They're not all going to have flaming arrows, but a good amount of them will have flaming arrows. 100-ish archers firing flaming arrows, a shit ton of chosen and chaos warriors, and just a general good time. I feel pretty solid about that. What I feel less solid about is this guy. So this is a Titan of War. We are 26 turns into the game. It's very likely not very likely, we know he has at least Alt 4, which gives plenty of good options. Temper Flesh, Liquid Body, Mist Forms, right? Gives Stone Skin, Moss Body, right? Like there's plenty of blurs, or Displaced or whatever, right? Like gives plenty of good defensive options there. And that's not counting the idea of maybe he has some construction, or maybe he traded for some items, or maybe he just random lucked some items, right? So I feel pretty confident about this army taking on this army, but I don't feel as confident about this Titan of War being there and us not knowing what that could potentially have access to, right? Because while we do have some really good kill options, I think in Tzeentch, in the idea of like, well, I say that we've got like halberds, 26 damage halberds, lance charges from chosen knights, very, very strong, etc., etc. But right now there's not really like crazy, oh, this is going to kill a Titan of War guaranteed scenario. So we are actually kind of waiting for this kit coming on this Marauder Scout, right? Specifically the Halberd of Might and the Bear Claw Talisman. But there's also a lab here, right? So we've got a couple of different pieces of gear, right? We've got Blade of Grass, can draw some blood. We've got Enchanted Sword, which doesn't really have crazy anything, but, you know, it's still probably a better weapon than most of the Marauders are using. Banefire Crossbow could potentially do some work on somebody, right? So we're moving into Faldenberg primarily for what's on this scout, but also as a aside to be like, hey, what are we doing here? This does potentially give Middenheim the option of, if he moves from Bagaloth to Faerie Woods and from Faerie Woods into Middenheim, he could consolidate all of his forces into one big army. But I think at this point, we've kind of said, yeah, that's going to happen. Let's fight. The flip side is if we were to attack Middenheim this turn, and even if the battle does mostly go in our way, if the Titan of War lives or causes some issue or just fucks us, and this is not just a we're moving along the border, that's really bad, right? So we're playing somewhat scared, somewhat safe, right? In the concept of like, we move into Faldenberg this turn. Worst case scenario, he consolidates his army or he pushes on Faldenberg. I think we're probably fine there. Because we're bringing in more forces as well with the Troll Shaman, all the Vedis, the Horde of Skeletons casting, etc., etc. I feel pretty okay about that. Obviously, we wouldn't have the gear on people yet. But he also wouldn't have, province defense or anything like that. And most likely he doesn't. Most likely he just goes into his capital and he stays there. And if that's the case and Itza attacks us, right, then we can be like, okay, abort, head over here, fight Itza. Middenheim is a different problem at the moment. Consolidate forces down here for a secondary army. And then, try to defend this border, take Bagaloth if we can, and then progress from there, right? So this is a scaredy cat move and a cautious move. I hope that is not the case. But if it is, we'll see how it goes. We've kind of been really lucky to not get attacked so far in the game, 26 turns, and we've been very peaceful. So it's bound to happen eventually. Someone's got to attack us eventually, right? So fingers crossed. That, I think, is pretty much it. That kind of seals the deal. Oh, no. That doesn't seal the deal. There's one other very important thing that has come into the mix as well. That was decidedly green previously. So the dwarves, I can't say they're vulturing because they're fighting, and also they're doing exactly what I'm doing, which is attacking a weakened opponent. So the dwarves are kind of going for Bone Nose Tribe because over here we can see Bretonnia. So Bretonnia was not happy to leave one orc tribe alone and is now going for the second orc tribe. And the dwarves have decided to step in because the Bone Nose Tribe doesn't have a choice in the matter, right? But the dwarves have decided to step in and basically say, we're not letting the Bretonnians have a third capital by turn 30, right? So the dwarves are marching on Bone Nose Tribe to say no to the Bretonnians, who are also marching on Bone Nose Tribe. And Bone Nose Tribe, oh, God bless you. I hope that they get to put up a massive fight. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone on Bone Nose Tribe right now. I am trying to move a scout over there to see if we can see what goes on. But right now, we're currently without eyes in that area. So yeah, lots of things happening this turn. Between the not potential, we're gonna get fucking Sacred Glen. But between the Sacred Glen in Cormark, between the scariness on the border with Itza, the movements of Middenheim, fucking the dwarves and the knights now fighting over Bone Nose. There's a whole lot of shenanigans in the mix. Very excited. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.